Scotland have just released their team to take on South Africa in round 2 of the Nations Championship, and there's some big names back. Well, one very big name back for Scotland, a very key player for their team. Of course, you know who it is, but before I do get into it, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I really do appreciate all the support. The Scotland fans have been awesome on the channel, so I really do appreciate that. But Scotland looks really good for the game this weekend, and I think it's going to be a very close game against the Springboks, my Springbok team. So I will be doing all the previews, all the match reactions, everything is a neutral. Of course I will. You know I will. If you've been on the channel before, you know, keep it neutral always. Don't show any bias at all. So don't look at that. Please don't look at that. But still, I don't think the Springboks have chosen their strongest team this weekend, and I do think it's a very good opportunity for Scotland to actually get a win in South Africa against my Springboks. I really do believe this. Now, I'm not saying that I think they are going to win. I think it's going to be a very close game. I do still expect the Springboks to be the favourites for the game just based on where they're playing at home. Still a very good team from the Springboks. I mean, there's still guys there like Peter Steph Tutoy, Volku Lowe's there, Johan Grobelaar is a good player, Ruan Norkia, Kubus Vis is solid, Paul de Villiers had an awesome season, Evan Ruiz is trying to improve a point as well, Embrus Papir, one of the informed players from the URC, from the South African sides as well, 100 Pollard, a double World Cup winner, Jesse Creel, Damian Willemse, Edwin van der Merwe has been in really good form. Other side, Kane and Moody's had a good season. Apelele Fasi at the back as well, really good under the high ball. But you are still missing guys like a Oxenchair, like a Thomas Tutoy, like a Eben Etzebeth, who I still think is maybe not at his best right now. You are missing a Siya Khaleesi, you are missing a Jasper Visser, you are missing a Grant Williams in the starting lineup, Kobus Reinach as well, Mali Lebok, Sasha Ngomazulu, Damien Dealindi, but 11 now, Cheslin Colby, Kurt Lee Orense. You're missing a lot of players. They really are missing a lot of guys there. So definitely, I think the one maybe weakness for the Springboks this weekend is that will these guys that have not played together, this team for the Springboks really is a team that hasn't played together much at all, will they be able to have as much cohesion as a Scotland team that's been playing together from the Six Nations till now, and a lot of these guys as well for Glasgow? I don't know about that, but we're going to have to find out. But I still think that's what's going to make this game even better this weekend. And it is an international test match. And you just know when some of those players for the Springboks put on the green and gold jersey, they seem to flip a switch in their head and they become a completely different player, almost a 2.0 version of themselves. But this isn't about them. This is about Scotland and what a team selected. They've just come off a really good win away from home in Argentina. And the one thing I did say is, can they get a win away from home the way they play at home at Murrayfield? And they just went and did that at one of the most difficult places to do that in Argentina. They'll be lucky if there was one fan there supporting them, maybe two if they know each other somehow, but they will. I mean, that performance from Scotland was absolutely incredible last weekend. Will they be able to keep it up? But we'll go through the team first. Number 1, Piers Skuman. Number 2, Ewan Ashman. Number 3, Xander Fagerson. Number 4, Gregor Brown. Number 5, Scott Cummings. Number 6, Matt Fagerson. Number 7, Rory Dodge. Number 8, Jack Dempsey. Number 9, Ben White. Number 10, Finn Russell. What a 19 combination. Number 11, Jamie Dobie gets another start. Number 12, and captain Sione Tuipulotu. Keeping the centres together. What a centre combination. And that centre battle is going to be incredible. Number 13, Rory Hutchinson. And number 14, playing in South Africa against the Springboks for the first time, Kyle Steyn. I think his family will be there. I saw on one of the other channels as well, so that's going to be really interesting. A South African that grew up in Stellenbosch playing against South Africa in Pretoria. That's going to be very awesome to see, as well as Piers Skuman as well. We know he played some rugby at the Bulls, grew up in Pretoria, went to Uffies as well, the school literally walking distance from the stadium, so a big game for those two guys. Number 15, Kyle Rowe, who's been absolutely quality this year. Then on the bench, Gregor Hiddleston, Rory Sutherland, Will Hurd, Alex Samuel, Josh Bayliss, Magnus Bradbury, Tom Jordan, and Stafford McDowell. So no backup scrum off on the bench. Really interesting to see that. Obviously, they're kind of hoping that Jamie Dobie will make it through the 80, or they know Ben White will play the 80. It's either Ben White plays the entire game, or Jamie Dobie moves the scrum off later on in the game. And maybe that is actually a good tactic, because once you do start a game like this, once you are kind of there from the get-go, you are into the game, you understand the physicality, you understand the pace. So for him to move from the wing to scrum off later on in the game, he wouldn't have had to run as much on the wing position as he would at scrum off, so he will be a bit more fresh, but he will understand the game, he will understand the pace, because a lot of the time, even from my own experience, if you start the game, you can play through the whole game, you understand the pace, but coming from the bench sometimes, you're not really up to speed with it. It takes a few minutes. Sometimes you don't even get up to speed with the game because you're just get a bit shocked by how fast the speed really is. So I definitely think that is a good tactic used there. Maybe it's not that deep at all, but that's just the way I see it, and I think that is a very, very good tactic there. Looking at some of the other guys on the bench, I'll start with the bench here. Gregor Hiddleston, he's been awesome this year in the URC. Good to see him get another opportunity. Will Hurd and Rory Sutherland, so they are looking for a solid set piece there against the world champion Springboks, who will come with a very solid, if not a near perfect set piece as well. Alex Samuel, Josh Bayless, Magnus Bradbury. So they've gone for a 6-2 split on the bench. They know it's going to be a forward battle. They know it's going to be an absolute battle up front. It's going to be a bloodbath. But guys like Josh Bayless and Magnus Bradbury are two of the perfect guys you can bring off the bench. Josh Bayless is almost like the Nick Timoney or Jack Conan or Quagga Smith or Wallace Atiti type of player for the Scotland team. He is incredibly fast. I did not realize how fast this guy really is. He's almost like a 100-meter sprinter, one of the fastest players on the field. If he gets even a sniff of an opportunity and space, nobody's going to catch him, or it'll be very difficult to catch him, especially if he does have a head start. He is extremely quick. Magnus Bradbury's been really good this year in the URC, and I fully expect him to keep that form up going forward, because this will be a big game. And I think 4 guys on the bench like a Gregor Hiddleston, like a Will Hurd, like a Alex Samuel, like a Josh Bayless, like a Magnus Bradbury, it could be a really big game for their careers and for their future in the blue jersey of Scotland as well. But that being said, the forward pack really needs to step up this game, and what a forward pack it is. These guys have been playing together for a while. A very good front row, but can this front row survive against the Springbok front row? Not the strongest Springbok front row this weekend. It's not the Thomas du Toits and Ox. It still is a good front row though, with Bowen Venter and Vulcalo. I think the key word there is Vulcalo. Piers Skuman versus Vulcalo, that is going to be absolutely incredible to watch. 2 proper South African props going at it. One is still playing for Scotland, but those 2 are proper farm boys from South Africa going at it. So that's going to be very interesting, that battle up front. The locks there, Gregor Brown and Scott Cummings. I think Scotland have gone for 2 very hard-working locks this week. They know they're going to get through work around the park. They're going to have to make some big tackles. If you have guys like Ivan Ruiz, Paul de Villiers, Peter Steph du Toit, Ruan Norkia, Kobus Visa running at you for 80 minutes, you need guys like a Scott Cummings, a Gregor Brown, and of course a Matt Fagerson at number 6 to kind of deal with those punches and also land their own punches themselves, because that loose trio right there, Matt Fagerson, Rory Dodge and Jack Dempsey, is absolutely world class. That is pure quality. Matt Fagerson, a very hard worker, a big human being, and he uses that size to his advantage. I think him versus Peter Steph du Toit this weekend, they are bound to meet somewhere in some sort of physical battle, and that should be very fun to watch. Rory Dodge, probably my informed player from the forward pack for Scotland, maybe even the entire Scotland team. This guy's been absolutely awesome this year in 2026. He tackles people to hurt them. He smashes through people and he runs through them. This guy's got such a low center of gravity, and he uses it so well to his advantage that I think he honestly will be one of those guys that can be a game changer and has to be a game changer for Scotland this weekend. Of course, number 8, Jack Dempsey. Not his best year by far, but if things do click for him in this game, it really will help Scotland out. He's a good ball carrier. He's got very good footwork. He almost always beats the first defender as well. We're going to have to see a game like, I think the last time I saw him play a really good game, he was probably the only guy against Italy in the Six Nations that played well in that loss. So maybe last year, if we see a kind of performance from Jack Dempsey like we saw last year, it could be a very good day for the forward pack, but it's going to be a very good battle there. Set piece, they're going to have to be extremely accurate at set piece. They know South Africa is going to come for them at the scrum, at line-out time as well, and all around the park. It's going to be an absolute battle in the, up front in the top 8 there in the forward pack. Looking at the back line, Ben White and Finn Russell, number 9 and number 10. 2 players that have played together so many times before. They've won some big games before. Can they do it now away from home? Just thinking back to the British and Irish Lions series of 2021, the one there was no crowd there in South Africa, Finn Russell was one of those catalyst players for the British and Irish Lions that almost helped them win the series. I mean, that was a very close series, and I think Finn Russell was one of those guys. Just the way he played, the way he pulled strings, the way his game was a bit different to the other 10s, a bit more out there, a bit more skillful, kind of taking the game to the Springboks as well. That's the things he did, which really did make the Springboks struggle during that tour. We really did struggle against the British and Irish Lions Lions, and he was one of the main reasons why. Ben White, a solid player. This guy's been really good. Last week he was absolutely awesome. But now Scotland really needs about 3 or 4 consistent performances from Ben White, because that's what you want from him. He's a really good scrum half, one of the probably top 10 scrum half in the world possibly. And on his day, he's like a top 5 player. He's really good sometimes. Just need more consistency there. But of course, him and Van Russell, a big job on Saturday to really get the job done for Scotland. Pull the strings as well. But of course, you can't be a good scrum half or a good fly half without a solid foundation from the forward pack, especially scrum half. I mean, for a fullback to be on the back foot and make some good plays, you have to be phenomenal. But for a scrum half, sometimes it's nearly impossible. I mean, I used to play scrum half myself. If a forward pack is not getting that forward momentum, getting quick ball for you at ruck time, there's almost nothing you can do. It's almost like you're a sitting duck. So hopefully not hopefully, because from a Springbok fan, but Ben White and those guys, for them, hopefully the forward pack from Scotland can really kind of step up and get them the ball they need. Now looking at the wingers there, Jamie Dobie and Kyle Steyn. I'm pretty sure Jamie Dobie, as I've said before, it's better for him not being from the bench, because he kind of gets to understand the speed of the game, the intensity, the pace and everything like that. Kyle Steyn, first game against the Springboks in South Africa. It's going to be awesome for him. He's been one of the informed wingers this year, so I'm really excited for that. Kyle Rowe, absolute quality at the back. This guy's been so good recently, and he's one of those guys. He's a high percentage player. He doesn't take a lot of risks, but the things he does very well. So expecting to see a very solid performance from Kyle Rowe there. And that whole back three is really solid. And I mean, just looking at the centers there, Sione Tuipulotu and Rory Hutchinson, I was proved wrong. But there is Stafford McDowell on the bench, because they know if one of those guys do go down, they will lose the center battle if they don't have another guy that can cover center. Of course, Kyle Steyn can slot into 13. That's probably a good option as well. But Stafford McDowell, adding a lot of power from the bench, probably could be used as a kind of utility player as well, that can maybe, if there's a lot of injuries, slot into the loose forward somewhere. He's that big as well. They won't want to do that. They won't want to make him a hybrid. He's a very good player, but I think right now Hutchinson and Sione Tuipulotu are the two guys for Scotland. And if they play like that, there's no need for Hugh Jones to come back. Even though Hugh Jones is a phenomenal player, those two are looking really good together. So it's going to be very interesting how that all happens. And I've spoken about the bench, looking for a big impact from the bench here. The players I'm the most excited to see from the whole squad, I'll name 5 from the starting lineup, then I'll name 2 from the bench. From the starting lineup, there's got to be Piers Skuman playing on his home soil against the Springboks. He's got to have a big game. Rory Dodge, this guy needs a big game, because when he plays well, the whole team plays well. Ben White, you have to pull the strings well in South Africa against South Africa. Otherwise, you will lose by a big margin. Finn Russell, of course, the magician. They say he's the Messi of rugby. Can he show it once again? If they go down, can he pull a Messi in an Argentina like they just did in the Football World Cup and come back? Let's see what they can do there. And for me, the other guy there, it's got to be Rory Hutchinson, because that kind of outside center to wing channel is going to be very important. Some really good speedsters for South Africa. Willemse at 12 will be able to create space on the outside with his footwork and his playmaking ability as well. Then the 2 guys on the bench I'm the most excited to see. For me, personally, it's got to be Josh Bayliss, and it's got to be... I'm going to go Gregor Hiddleston and Josh Bayliss, because I think those 2 guys will 100% come onto the field. Gregor Hiddleston, a really good player, and Josh Bayliss can make a massive impact. So thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Let me know which players you're the most excited to see down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.